To all the people who are arguing in the comments section, respect other people's opinion. Both countries are beautiful in their own way. Just because the person who posted this video likes Pakistan over India doesn't mean that every person in the world feels the same way. It's just his personal opinion. I think it's time I responded. Hi everybody, foXnoMad here, and today I want to help you travel smarter by answering the question, do I like India or Pakistan or India? Which country do I like the most? Well, no, not really, because that question is really general. So I want to talk about why that question really doesn't make much sense. So for those of you who haven't seen, I've made a couple of videos after I visited Pakistan and India in early 2020, and I made a video comparing what it's like traveling in both places, just my observations from my recent trips there. And the comment section, well, let's just say it got colorful, and it's still getting more and more colorful with every new comment. So after that original video about 6 months ago, I put out another video responding to a lot of your comments, but I don't think we got to the heart of the matter, which is a lot of people assume or seem to take that I like Pakistan more than India and that I was putting India down. So let's talk about that. First of all, if I liked Pakistan or India more than one or the other, I would just tell you. I've been blogging for about 10 years now and been to over 90 countries, and I'm newer on YouTube, at least uploading regularly. But across all of that content, I have to be genuine. I try to be genuine and as honest as possible, because if I'm not doing that, then why should you listen to me or watch my videos? I make content because I want to help you travel smarter. So a generic statement like, I like one country more than the other, doesn't really make a lot of sense when you take a closer look. Both India and Pakistan are huge. Pakistan covers an area of 881,913 square kilometers and has a population of 212 million. India has a population of 1.3 billion people and covers an area of 3.3 million square kilometers. That is a lot of space and a lot of people combined between those two countries. Those are two very large countries covering a very large area of the earth that happens to be very geographically, ethnically, and culturally diverse. And being so diverse and so big means that I haven't been to every corner of both countries and I haven't met everybody in both countries. Obviously, that's not possible, but what I've seen in both places is just really a sliver of all the things that are possible to be seen and experienced as a traveler. One similarity I will say, and this popped up a lot in the comments, are Pakistanis and Indians talking about how diverse the regions within each nation is. Urdu is lingua franca in Pakistan and Hindi in India, but both countries have recognized national and regional languages. A lot of national and regional languages. Hindi and Urdu might be the general language people know, but it's the general language so that people from different regions can communicate. If you're from India or Pakistan or familiar with either place, then you already know that. But if you're not familiar, let me give you some facts. Pakistan has 66 recognized language and India has 447. That's a lot of languages. In fact, it's the fourth most languages of any country in the world. India's second largest language family is Dravidian, which includes Tamil and is spoken primarily in the south and has 280 million speakers. That's 130% the population of the entire country of Pakistan. Across the border in Pakistan, 3/4 of the population do speak Urdu, but it's only the native language or primary language for about 7% of the population. I'm sharing these facts with you because I want you to understand how diverse and different these countries are within each other and how different the regions are within each other. So if we say India or Pakistan, we're really talking about a big national border around a lot of very specific regions, which have a lot of very specific languages, a lot of specific cuisines, and a lot of specific cultures. It shows the incredible diversity within each country, but it's also a similarity between both countries that they are so diverse regionally across such a big portion of the country. That's something that India and Pakistan share in common. So now going back to the original statement, do I like India or Pakistan more? When you think about it, really becomes such a general topic when you realize that that can mean a lot of things. Like India is so diverse, it's so huge. Pakistan has so many different regions. This really doesn't make much sense to say I like one country more than the other. So like when people who visit India say, I like India, what they're really saying is, on my trip, when I went to India, I liked X, Y, and Z places. I went to New Delhi, I went to Bangalore, I went to, the Taj Mahal. Whatever you did when you were traveling and visiting India, the people you met, the food you had, the places you stayed, those specific experiences led you to the conclusion that you like India. But that's really a broad statement. You could have gone to different parts of India and maybe not liked it. Somebody could have taken the exact same trip as you, been on a tour group with you in the exact same group of people, and been to the exact same places, stayed at the same hotels, eaten the same things, but just not like the experience and not like the country. But again, that's not fair to the entire country. That's just not liking a specific set of experiences. And of course, all of this is true for Pakistan as well. Look, for comparison, I know Istanbul very, very, very well, you could say. And when it comes to Istanbul, there are a lot of people who love Istanbul, and there are a lot of people who hate Istanbul, who have visited, who have been tourists in Istanbul. They just don't like it. A lot of people who've been to the city think Sultanahmet is the entire city. They think the entire city is like that. It's essentially the historic district, but it's really just the touristic area. Most locals don't live there. They just go to work there. It's not really a residential area. And as places build up and become more touristic, so as specific parts of a city become more touristic and more popular, they become less of a place for locals to live, and they become more of a shopping center and sightseeing place to visit. So taking Istanbul as a comparison, when you visit the city as a tourist, and if you stay and visit the touristy things to do, which are great, they are beautiful sites, and there's a lot to see, and you can get a lot of the culture and the idea of the city. But when you go to those places, you have to realize that you're seeing really the touristic area. You're not seeing actual local life. And what that can do is give you a warped perception of how much you like the city and the broader country in general. Because as amazing as those historic parts of Istanbul are, they come with a lot of the things that happen to a place when it gets popular. A lot of the crappy things that happen when a city or a part of the city or a place gets really popular with tourists. You get higher prices, you get less accommodation options that are good, you get a lot of those seedy areas, those kind of crappy hotels that look great online, and then you book it and then like they're dirty or whatever. Then you get scams, you get people who aren't really genuine, people who are just trying to make some money off of you. You get those crappy parts of the tourism travel experience. That doesn't mean there aren't genuine local experiences to be had in the city or in those touristic areas. They're just a little bit harder to find. Now, I've been to India 27 times or so. I've pretty much lost count, but I've been to India a lot of times, and I've gotten past that touristic site. I've been to the Taj Mahal multiple times. I've been to the touristic areas a lot of different times. So in those multiple trips, going back to a place really gives you that chance to get off the beaten path, and you get to see places that are maybe smaller and more local. So you get to get an idea of what local life is like. And although I don't like to throw around the word authentic too much, but you just kind of get an idea of what a place is really like what every day is like, what everyday people eat, what they see, how they work. Whereas you don't quite get that as much at the main touristic sites. You just get to see touristic sites and how people who work in touristic areas get by. India has a lot of great qualities to it, and that's why a lot of people go. That's why a lot of people, like myself, go back for multiple trips, because it is such a diverse and large place full of so many different things to see and so many different cuisines and so many different people that there are a lot of good reasons to keep going back. But because it is more popular, when you go to the touristic areas, you might have a warped perception because of all the reasons that I just mentioned. Pakistan, on the other hand, has a lot less tourists. So even in their most, quote, popular places to visit for tourists, there still aren't a lot of travelers visiting. So you get more of those local experiences. You get more of a glimpse of what local life is like because they're just not overwhelmed with tourists. Now, that might change in the future, and I think there are a lot of good reasons to visit Pakistan when this pandemic is over. But I think as places get more popular, they tend to get all the natural things that come with that popularity in those very specific parts of a place, like scams, like expensive prices, like not the best accommodations, a little bit more navigating to do. You've got to get your guard up a little bit more when you're around people because you don't know at first whether or not there's a genuine offer, you're having a genuine interaction with the person, or if it might be a scam. I'm not saying that everybody's trying to scam you all over the world, but I'm just saying there are times, and as you travel more, you know, kind of when you're in those big cities in this very popular touristic area, if you're in Times Square, I mean, how many people coming up to you are going to be genuine people that you want to talk to? Obviously, a lot of them are, but you kind of have your guard up there. Whereas if you're in a small town, let's say in upstate New York, far away from the city, and someone comes up to you to ask you for directions, chances are that's pretty much just going to be an innocuous event. Whereas in a place like Times Square, you've got to kind of keep your guard up. You've got to keep your guard up for your bag and your pockets. Now, that doesn't mean popular places are bad. You should go visit the places you want to see, and a lot of popular places are popular for a good reason. They're popular because the Taj Mahal is iconic. Times Square is iconic. These places inspire a lot of people to visit. That's really one of the motivations a lot of people have to go to a city. It's kind of the first thing that hooks you in to get you to a place. So if you want to visit the Taj Mahal, that's going to bring you to India. And in India, once you're there, you've got a lot of things to see. And maybe through my videos, you'll see something in Pakistan that hooks you and you go, maybe I do want to take a trip there. And of course, you don't have to want to see local stuff. You might just want to see the sights. It doesn't matter. Do what makes you happy. Travel for the reasons that motivate you and the reasons that interest you specifically. And of course, you can like and dislike what you want to like and not like. That's natural. We all like and dislike things. We all dislike places that we visit. We all like places that we visit. But a lot of times when I've not liked the place and I've gone back, I liked it or I disliked it even more. Things change because you change as a person, time goes on, the place changes as time goes on. There are a lot of things that can happen that can make you have a good experience or a bad experience. One bad meal on a trip can throw off your entire perception of an entire city. And if you've traveled a lot, you know that. You know that one rude employee at a hotel can totally throw off your perception. But then also the flip side is true. You know, you can be in a city that you absolutely hate, and then you can meet a couple of people there and the experience is just totally different, and then you totally like it. It can change, like a ratatouille moment from the movie. It can really change with a meal that you really enjoy or a food that you've never tasted, or just a nice interaction with someone who's serving you the food can really change your perception about an entire place. So when you ask me whether I like India or Pakistan more, that doesn't really mean anything because we're talking about very specific places and experiences. I mean, I can say, yeah, I love India, and I really do. I love traveling to India. I love traveling to Pakistan. I really enjoyed both countries. But when I'm saying those things, I can't talk about the entire country because I haven't been to the entire country. I haven't been to every corner of both countries. I haven't met everybody, like I said. I'm only talking about my specific experiences in a real tiny sliver of time, in a really tiny sliver of the entire thing that is within those national borders. So when you assume I like one country over the other, that doesn't really mean anything, and it's kind of demeaning to both places because they are so large and diverse. If you've ever watched the news about any place that you like and you hear that happened in country X is like this, then you know, if you've been there, you can go, wait, that's not the entire country. That's just a small sliver of that country. That's true of everywhere. And the media tends to do that. They tend to generalize nations when they appear on the news because it's fast and it's easy and they don't have time to explain all the nuances. But here on YouTube, we kind of do have the time to explain the nuances and to go on the nuances in specific videos about a place and specific videos like this one. And if there's one thing that I've noticed after traveling to Pakistan and India both, is that they are both changing rapidly. And in my next trips to India and Pakistan, and there will be trips to both countries coming up, they won't be the same. They won't be the same as they were last year, and I won't be the same. That's what I love about traveling and sharing those travels with you on YouTube. Plus, a lot of you give me great recommendations in the comments on things to do and places to see and things to eat for my upcoming trips. And I know the pandemic has gotten in the way, but believe me, I am taking notes for next time. And as we begin to wrap up this video, I know a lot of you are still thinking, he's really trying to be diplomatic. So let me just give you the honest answer. And the honest answer is, I really like both places. I really like India and I really like Pakistan. India I've been to, like I said, over 27 times. So I've gotten to see all the touristic sites and I've gotten to go to a lot of the different regions and meet a lot of the different people. So I have this experience both of the very popular stuff, but also I've had a chance now to really get off the beaten path and really to see things that a lot of other travelers haven't gotten to see yet. and having the opportunity to really get off the beaten path and see what every day is like in different parts of this huge, vast country are really my most memorable experiences. Yeah, the touristic sites are great, and I'm not saying you shouldn't go see them, but if you have a chance, once you get done with that, there's so much more to experience, and those are probably going to end up being your fondest memories as well. I've made friends in both Pakistan and India, two amazing countries that I've been really fortunate and lucky to visit. I've eaten just a tiny percentage of your cuisine, and I'm still hungry for more. Of course, I'm not the only opinion on India and Pakistan. There are plenty of other opinions, but if you watch my channel, if you watch my other videos, you can begin to calibrate what my opinions are, the things I sort of like, the things I don't like. It's all subjective, right? I mean, everything when it comes to a review or it comes to a travel video, it's all ultimately subjective. But if you watch me frequently or you watch me enough, you're gonna be able to calibrate what your opinions are and your takeaways are to how I kind of see things and the things I tend to gravitate toward and the things I tend to find interesting. Of course, there are a lot of other YouTube channels you should check out if you're planning a trip or you want to see other parts of the world. There are a lot of great creators out there making great travel content. But if you're watching foXnoMad content, you're watching my videos, just know that I'm trying to help you travel smarter, and the best way I know how to do that is to be as informative and as honest as possible, and hopefully a little bit entertaining too. Thanks for watching, and I'm looking forward to all of your comments, and keep those recommendations coming because like I said, I've got plans to visit both India and Pakistan, so I am taking careful notes. If you don't want to miss those upcoming videos, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Shukriya, and I'll see you in the next video. For that time, I've been 1,000 square 81,000. So 218. Those are is lingua franca, lingua franca, lingua franca.